What's up, guys? Shay Stevens here, PDJ number 77522, and I got to play an old school course with an old school disc. Let's get to it. So a few months ago, I was working the Lost and Found at Tyler State Park, rotating discs, calling owners, and I came across something pretty cool. A Super Puppy. So, for those who don't know, this disc was made by Destiny Discs. They no longer exist. Um, they started making these in 1980, so this disc might be able to play Masters. It's older than me, so unfortunately, there was no phone number on the back of this thing. There are some markings on the back, but nothing to really help me figure out who the owner is. So I posted on our Facebook page. I posted on our website trying to find out who the owner was. 'Cause I want to get this back to whoever it belongs to. And unfortunately, the owner never stepped forward. So long shot here. If this is your disc, you lost it at Tyler State Park. Message me at ShayStevens77522 at gmail.com. And just let me know what the markings on the back are, and I will get it back to you. But I searched for months, couldn't find the owner, so I had to play with it. It's history. I gotta give this a throw. So what I decided to do was play an old school disc, use an old school disc at an old school course. I went down to Sedgley Woods in Philadelphia. It's in Fairmount Park. Uh, for years, it was a big fight. What was the first disc golf course ever installed? Was it Oak Grove, California, or Sedgley Woods in Philadelphia? And finally, the argument kind of got settled. By my research, it looks like Sedgley is number 2 in the world. Second place ain't that bad. Still a really cool course. It's grown up over the years. They've had to make a few tweaks, but it's still pretty true to its roots. I see, unfortunately, like in May 2020, this crazy windstorm just came through and just straight dominoed trees over, and it was really sad. Those trees were really old. Definitely changed some holes. And to the credit of the club, the Friends of Sedgley Woods, they're amazing. They got that course. It looked like it got hit by a tornado. In 3 days, it was back up and playable. So shout out to those guys. They take an amazing, they take a lot of pride and do an amazing job on that course. So they really preserve the history too. So they have blue tee pads, which kind of resemble like the old school like 80s, 90s play where holes are, ballpark like 230 average, I'd say. You could play with a lid if you wanted to. And then they have yellow tees, which are a little further. And then they have red tees that are like really like lengthening the course. So what I decided to do was take this old school disc and play the blue tees, 1 to 18. In this video, I'm just going to be covering the front 9, and I'll hopefully have the back 9 soon. But without further ado, let's check it out. Hole 1 is a 201-foot par 3 to start the round. You can see it's pretty straightforward. Basket is just over the crest of the hill with some trees just before it to guard it. I typically just rip an NV nice and low on this shot. And I tried the same shot with the Super Puppy and realized it is not an NV, so yeah, this is going to be fun. So I've come up well short here. Got some trees obstructing me, a little bit of a wind too. Gonna give it a bit of a run. Float it up, and yeah, this thing doesn't have the forward push that our modern putters do, so hole 1, I'm ending with a par. On to hole 2. It is the longest hole on the course for the blue tees at 362 feet. Bit of an S-shaped hole. I'm trying to give this disc a lot of height and a lot of hyzer. But that doesn't matter. I have turned the Super Puppy way over. So I'm going to be pinned up on the long side rough. I'm going to try and bend the corner here.
Zoom in.
Doing a little bit of nature spotting on the course.
Have you seen them there? We got chipmunks. They're so cute.
I like chipmunks. Don't judge me.
Boop. Oh, you're my new best friend.
See, I'm really pinned up here on the side of the rough. I'm going to try and throw a big anhyzer to turn the corner. I give this thing plenty of height, but yeah, this does not fight back at all, so there's no stability to turn into a big roller. Got me to the mouth, though. So just a little bit of a chip shot here. Get me up to the basket so I can putt and get out of here with my bogey. Left myself some meat on the bone with that upshot. But I do manage to save the bogey. So, +1 for the round so far. Hole 3 is an interesting shot. You are throwing from the sidewalk as the tee pad to a basket that's set on a hillside. It's a 174-foot hyzer shot. So I'm really going to take it easy on this throw just to make sure the Super Puppy hyzers. I do saw it off a little bit. I'm just skirting the rough, but I end up with a putt on the green here. Take my time, make sure I give it enough power, float it in the chains, and hit it. First birdie with the Super Puppy, and back to even par. Hole 4 is a downhill 230-foot shot through a tight gap. The basket is down and to the left, which I know I'm not going to get there with the Super Puppy, so I am actually just aiming left, throwing it nice and soft and letting the disc work. Turns over a little bit, but hits the gap clean. Gives me a look for birdie. I'm happy. I get down to my shot, and I'm a little encumbered by this bush here. So I do have to straddle out here, and it's still pretty tight, so I'm going to have to give this a straddle putt. And I give it a decent run, but leave myself a nice par tap in. Hole 5 is a 195-foot uphill par 3. There is the traditional basket straight ahead, and then a new one elevated to the right. I'm going to the traditional basket straight up the chute. So I give this disc plenty of height, but I forget to give it the proper angle, so I turn it over and end up towards the elevated basket. However, that throw does remind me of the old videos I used to watch of people throwing the Super Puppy in classic discs, and I realized I need to give this disc a lot more height, so there's my upshot. Actually, we're going to pan off to the right here, and you'll be able to see the elevated basket. So there it is. That's the elevated basket. It's really fun to play, and you also see the red tee pad for the next hole. This course, has grown up over the years, but it's still a little crammed, so definitely be careful when you're playing. Make sure people fully clear out. So yes, I leave myself a nice little tap out for yet another par. Hole 6 is a 181-foot straight shot, and like I said, the game plan here is almost throw this like an ultimate pull. Nice high in the air, a little bit of angle. Let it work for me. And that throw felt really good, really controlled. Get a little bit of flip. And I'm down on the green for a putt. So I'm about 25 feet or so away. A few roots messing with my footing, but not too bad. And I can it for another birdie. Hole 7 is a 261-foot par 3 that bends slightly from right to left. This is honestly my favorite hole from the Blues. I love rubbing an envy on this, but as I said before, the Super Puppy is not an envy, so I give this plenty of hyzer, plenty of air, let it glide. I do make it pretty far down the fairway, but it's going to be a long look for that birdie. So I am well into circle 2 here. You can see it's raining as well. I do have to comment, this old plastic, guys, has depth rubber in it. Feels great in your hand. It actually, after I towel it off a little bit, really grippy still. So I'm going to try a step putt here. And yeah, give it as much as I can, but it just doesn't have that forward push that our new putters do. So comes in pretty soft, rolls a little bit to the side here, but definitely my range to clean up for a par. Hole 8 is a 193-foot uphill par 3. There is some trouble on the right that I'm afraid of, so I'm actually going to try and play a bit of an anhyzer around this big guardian tree on the left here. And I give it a lot of height and a lot of angle, and a little too much, unfortunately. This never really got to flat and flip, so I wind up here on the left side under some trees. I do have a bit of a window here, and I'm thinking kind of like that ultimate step-out floaty pass under the defender's arm. And I'm pretty happy with that run, but come up a little short. So I'll be tapping in again for another par. And wrapping up the front 9 is a 256-foot uphill shot. Basket is up the chute in the middle here and to the left. So I'm thinking nice high shot with a lot of hyzer. And I really just try to juice one up there and end up cooking this over. A lot of distance, but not a good position for the hole. It does give me a chance to check out the Memorial Garden, though. I think this is the only out of bounds at Sedgley Woods. It's really cool. They kind of preserved this old original basket. This little Memorial Garden here. It's a real nice touch. Definitely worth checking out. Just don't land a disc in here. So Look how thin those chain supports were that people were playing on back in the day. So my shot's actually about a meter off of the out of bounds line. There's a cord that runs around the Memorial Garden marking the out of bounds. And I really have no look at all. It's really not a pretty view. So all I really have is a flick roller, and I'm banking on the Super Puppy being understable, so send this off way to the right, and sure enough it zips around here, back into the fairway right in frame there. Just taking my medicine. And I'm bummed. The basket used to be behind the big guardian tree, but it fell. They left the trunk there, though, as a defense, which is nice. So I'm towing off my disc. I'm thinking kind of ultimate floaty pass. See, the wind is up, though. Unfortunately, we're in the clearing. And it does kind of hold me out there a little longer than I would have hoped. So I'm under the basket, and unfortunately I'll be wrapping up the front nine with a bogey to put me back to even par. Thank you for watching this front nine of my Super Puppy round at Sedgley Woods. I'm currently working to edit the back nine coverage, and we'll have it out as soon as possible. If you haven't already, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more content like this and other disc golf content. Also, a reminder that we are still accepting submissions for the current Beat the Basket Bashers Challenge until Friday, June 18th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, so find a soccer net and have some fun. Lastly, thank you to my sponsor for all your disc golf needs, except probably a Super Puppy. Check out Basket Bashers Disc Golf.